So just before we get started here, there's somebody who dialed in via phone only. Can you let me know who that is?
This is Amanda Lau. I'm going to be switching over to my computer in about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
For whatever reason, the agenda is not pulling up for me. That's why I'm having a problem. Give me a second, please.
And yes, Denise, the trustees are all on.
You're on vacation today? Who? Are you on vacation today?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the SUNY Erie special meeting of the Board of Trustees this Tuesday, August 30th, 2022 at 9 a.m. We have trustees joining us both via WebEx, also in person, and currently on the phone. So at this time, I would like to do a roll call. Melody Baker, Lynn Linehan,
Present.
Amanda Lowe,
Present.
Candace Morrison,
Present.
Carrie Phillips,
Here.
Jeff Stone,
Here.
excuse me. Denise Wilson is here, and Marcel Soares Pinheiro.
Here.
We have quorum. And I would like to officially call the meeting to order. So we have items for board approval, items 1 through 6 listed here. You should have been emailed the documents for review. At this time, I'm going to ask that Dr. Sagai go through the items, and then we'll have any questions, comments, or discussions thereafter.
Absolutely. Good morning, Chairwoman. Good morning, everyone. I have Terry Kahn, who's going to talk about the affiliation agreement, the first area. Carrie?
Yes, thank you. Welcoming everyone, and thank you for adding me, Dr. Sagai. We traditionally have, with hospitals and clinicals, a SUNY affiliation agreement. However, when we have medical schools like the University of Rochester that are outside our scope and they're non-SUNY, we have a non-SUNY affiliation agreement. This is for 3 years. It's so our students that take the respiratory clinicals 128, 238, and 248 can participate, complete. We have a proctor that's here at the college and then goes out and visits at the University of Rochester site. And in this instance, it's Strong Memorial. So I'm asking the board for their 3-year approval for this. This has been a continuation of a partnership between Strong, University of Rochester, and ECC for the past 30 years. Thank you. Any questions? No?
So do we want to vote on them individually or?
So we can vote on them individually. I guess we can go as we go. So may I have a motion to approve the agreement affiliation respiratory care Strong?
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Agreement moved. Next, we have the agreement BPS Middle Early College.
In this one, I will have Katrina, Chairwoman, to discuss that agreement,
Okay,
as well as, if I may, the other two agreement as well. That's going to be also Katrina presenting.
so 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, please.
Okay, and then we'll vote after the entire presentation.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So the first agreement that you have before you relates to an agreement between Middle Early College High School. And the new agreement is an extension for our current contract that is in place and will extend from 2022 through 2025. And it relates to one term specifically, which is our tuition increase, raising our tuition for these students from $199 to $217 per credit hour. So that is the first agreement for your approval. The second,
Now, I was just going to ask if there's any questions on that.
So just to be clear, this is covered under financial aid?
no, the students themselves do not pay this. This is the agreement that is paid by Buffalo Public Schools
Oh,
for
okay.
our students. Yes.
Okay.
And we have not had a tuition increase since our initiation of this agreement in partnership with Buffalo Public Schools since 2003.
Okay. Thank you.
And Buffalo schools are in agreement with us, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, they are in agreement.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll go to the second one.
Next item, yeah.
Okay, great. The second item relates to Buffalo Motor Car. It is an agreement for 150 parking spaces for our city campus students. Many of you may be aware that we lease parking spaces to accompany our students that are taking courses at the city campus. Our current lot that the college owns in conjunction with the county has available about 75 spaces. So these additional spaces have been offered since 2011. And probably even prior to that, we've had different vendors, but this vendor will offer 150 spaces. This is also a vendor that we recently were under contract with, and that contract expired May 31st of 2022. Any questions regarding this contract?
Katrina, I have a question. So the actual money comes from the student activity fees?
It comes from a mandatory student transportation fee. Students pay $80, and so they receive a number of services, for 4 student transportation contracts are associated with that fee.
Okay, so it doesn't technically come out of the general fund, even though the money's all in the general fund, but the money's provided for by the
That's
students.
correct. What happens is that our bursar operations will collect the fee from students as part of their tuition and fees. And so therefore we will pay the contracts based upon what has been collected.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other
Katrina,
questions? Yes.
Katrina, this is Jeff Stone asking if this is approved, does this, in your judgment, adequately provide for parking at city campus?
No, no, it does not. At one point in time, about 20 years ago, we did offer 500 parking spaces. And due to the cost, we reduced that. Also, our enrollment has been reduced as well. I would say that looking forward to the future, that we should keep an eye on whether or not enrollment increases at city campus, so that we could make sure that we're offering parking spaces that are substantial to the enrollment of students at the campus.
And just to be clear, is this cost already accounted for with the transportation fee, or will this cause an increase in the transportation fee?
No, this cost is also part of the 4 contracts that are supported by that $80 student transportation fee. After speaking with ARDA, and I'm sure Bill Reuter can attest to this, every couple years we do an analysis of the fees in the spring semester based on the previous contracts that are in place in conjunction with enrollment, and we decide oftentimes to increase the student fee, raising it by either $10 or $15 in order to support these contracts. So in speaking with ARDA recently, that will need to be done in February at the time of the budget process.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, and my last final agreement for your approval is for the Cedar Bus Company, and it is to provide shuttle services for SUNY Erie students to travel in between campuses, to take courses, to engage students in athletic events, student activities, other opportunities that are offered on the various campuses, and it allows our students to transfer and to travel in between campuses other than their home campus. So this is a very important and vital part of our services that we offer students, our programs, and also students rely on this service. And this service is very well received by our students as well. Any questions related to this contract?
So as a trustee who's been on the board for a while, I've seen these come through many times. My question for all 3 of these agreements is the timing of it. I know these are necessary for this upcoming year. However, are these contracts, is this something that we could approve, you know, May or, you know, June, something like that? Or do we have to approve them always during this time period?
No, they expired in May, and the intention usually in the past 10 or 12 years was to have them approved between June and July. But with the change of the schedule of the Board of Trustees schedule, as well as we had the main administrator resign during that period of time, we're off schedule.
Okay. So in the future, this will come probably in July.
Yeah, June or July. Yeah,
All right.
that's been the past practice. This is the first time that these contracts have
Right.
ever been this late.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? So I'll take them individually. May I have a motion to approve the BPS Middle Early College Agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the Buffalo Motor Car Parking
So
Agreement?
moved. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And lastly, may I have a motion to approve the PLS 2, aka Cedar Bus Shuttle Agreement?
So moved.
Is there a motion? I mean, a second. I'm sorry.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Now we have number 5, People Inc. Agreement Amendment.
Good morning, everybody. I actually have this is Paul Danu. I have the next two items,
Okay.
Inc. and the Xerox. So if you prefer, we could do the same way as Patrina's. I'll go over the first, answer any questions, and then do the Xerox one. Let's see.
Hey, Paul, this is Len. I just want to ask, how did we accomplish the great reduction in cost?
Len, honestly, I just think it's got to be technology improvement. And I know we've scaled back some of the equipment as well, but it's just been crazy the way this has been reduced from the one we did 10 years ago, roughly, from a couple hundred down to 162,000 down to this year. I think it was like 133,000 and change. It's just,
It's kind of nice to read. That's
yeah, a rare win is, usually we're seeing everything going up instead of the other way. Just trying to get back to the agenda. The first agreement is between the college and People Inc. This is a rental agreement for 3 years. The college and People Inc. have been partners since at least 2008, when at least that's when we started seeing articulation and affiliation agreements for our students to be placed there. They came on campus in 2010 and began renting a single room in building 2 at the campus, and have been here since. We typically have about a dozen students with special needs. The kids, I've seen them in the weight room, I've seen them in the gym. They're, it's a good win-win, I think, for the college. We've had success with our students being placed there. There are people utilizing our space. The revenue we get is approximately $3,000. It's actually $93.47 annually. Over the course of the 3-year contract, it would be $28,890.60. We've been talking to them since the spring. They were rather hesitant because they weren't really sure if the campus was going to close, how the Bill Stadium was going to impact us. And I think they finally decided, once some of the site plans came out in mid-July, that they were confident that, at least for the time being, they were willing to go forward with the contract. That's pretty much it. Any other questions? And actually, one other item, since I placed this on the agenda, we've received the signed copy from People Inc. And the county attorney has also already approved the agreement. So it's just a matter of, once this body approves it, getting it executed by Dr. Balkan and the other parties necessary.
Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the People Inc. Agreement? Awesome. I know we just briefly touched on it with Lynn's question, but if you can go into a little bit more detail with the Xerox.
So Xerox, we've been a partner with them since approximately early 2000s, about 2002. The average cost per month has dropped dramatically over the course of the agreements. I kind of am jumping into this late. The institutional service director was one of the people that was recently laid off, so we're kind of picking up where he left off. The service we provide to the campus, we do business cards, we do brochures, color, black and white marketing, booklets, business cards. They do a lot in the duplicating center. As to why the expense has gone down so much, I can only assume it's with technology improvements. In talking to Marie in the duplicating center, she said we're basically using the same equipment. It's just gotten faster. The images are sharper. It's more digital as opposed to whatever the technology was 10, 15 years ago. The staff are part of the reason we had 3 replies. We had Rico and then a second Rico reply in Xerox. Rico and Xerox, the one Rico was kind of high. The other Rico was a little more or a little less than Xerox, but when we went back to Xerox, they were able to sharpen their pencils, reduce the cost by about $1,000 per month. They dropped their color image as well to below Rico's. So between the not having to replace all the equipment, the learning curve to learn how to use the new equipment, this is definitely, in our opinion, the preferred way to go. We did go out to Rico. We saw a demonstration for a couple hours. While we're confident the equipment could do all the same jobs, some of the issues, as I noted, especially the learning curve and the time to take all the Xerox equipment out and replace it with the Rico equipment, if the Rico equipment would even fit. There was some discussion when we were on site at Rico if the equipment would fit in the physical space we have available. So we felt after Xerox was able to reduce their costs, that this was definitely the recommended way to go. That I'll take any questions.
Well, I have a recollection. This is Jeff speaking. And Len, maybe to your question, I think a couple of meetings ago, we adopted a resolution that had us essentially purchasing some copying equipment at the end of its lease, if I recall correctly, which would have a big cost saving going forward. And I'm wondering if the cost savings associated with that decision are being reflected here?
No, Jeff, that's Trustee Stone, I'm sorry. Those are the convenience copiers. Those are basically the copiers that are throughout the campuses in the actual departments. There might be, like, we have one upstairs in building 1 at South Campus, one downstairs that's shared by the different departments. These are more high-end duplicators where they're making booklets, they're merging different weights of paper, different pieces. Like the cover might be a color document. The internal documents are usually typically all black and white. Could be some tables in there that might be colored. So these duplicators kind of take all those documents and make them into one. Then they'll take them off the machine, throw them on either a binder, our drilling machines, or our binding machines, and put together the finished product for the departments or whoever's going to use it.
So this is good. These are savings in addition to those we identified a few months ago.
Yeah, these would all be items that back in, not to date myself, but back like in the 80s and early 90s, we would put together bid packages, and most of this stuff would have to go out to bid. And that's when it was decided to bring the equipment inside. And over the course of the various leases, the equipment has gone down and down. Like we're very pleasantly surprised when the proposals came in for this particular renewal.
Well, this is great news. Any other questions? Okay. So we will have asked for a motion to approve the People Inc. agreement amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to approve the Xerox lease for 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And, uh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item People Inc. Agreement and Xerox Lease 2022 has been approved. Thank you. Is there a need for an executive session?
Yes.
All right. So at this time, I would like to make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Okay. Bob, if you can just let us know when we are
All right, we are ready when you are, Denise.
Okay. Thank you. We are coming out of executive session where we discussed potential litigation for a third-party vendor and also impact on bargaining units. At this time, I would like to move to our agenda to other business where I'll turn it over to our President Balkan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the topic that I'd like to broach revolves around our enterprise resource planning tool and strategy, in which we recognize that we need to migrate off the Workday solution to a banner solution that's offered by Ellucian. And to that end, in order to have us save cost and to transfer to this new platform sooner rather than later, it's advantageous for us to contract with both Ellucian and one of their platinum partners who will support us in parallel with any migration work for the next 30 days while we secure county and legislature approval for the expense that we anticipate to do a full migration. So what I'd like to ask the board to do is to approve my ability to contract with both Stratus Information Group and separately with Ellucian, which are both ERP experts, in providing us services for the next 30 days at a cost of not to exceed $50,000 each, or a total of $100,000 for the two contracts. And again, the point of this is to enable us to jumpstart our migration efforts in parallel with securing support from the county, who is well aware of this issue, and we've discussed it with them a couple of times in front of the legislature.
Yes.
You.
Yes. Well summarized.
I was just going to ask any questions or discussion. Go ahead, Vice Chair Stone.
Okay. I think we realize that this is a contract that is setting us up for the short term as we continue to go through the process of figuring out what the long-term and medium-term looks like. The idea here is to try to provide an arrangement that will hopefully allow us to have things progress in such a way and on such a time frame that by the beginning of next school year, we're either on the separate platform or on a number of platforms, but having it all work better than it would if we delayed this decision. So there's a time element here, and I'll move the approval of these contracts as outlined by Dr. Baldwin.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second it. I just have a question, or at least ask David to clarify, just over these next 18 months as we transition or migrate, however we want to term it, can you explain Workday's role for the next 18 months?
So we're going to have a Workday engagement continuing, because it's not a light switch. We can't turn off one platform and move to the other. So part of the activity is going to include continuing to support our Workday current platform implementation as we train and migrate people. And it's part of the reason why it's critical that we work closely with vendors who have expertise in Banner, who can train our resources, if not augment our resources as we transition from Workday to Banner.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we have a motion by Trustee Stone and then a second by Trustee Linehan. Is there any other questions? All right, with that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for your time. At this point, I would like to adjourn the meeting at this special meeting of the board at 10:25 a.m.
Just one last comment. If there's a notion that we may have a special board meeting on Tuesday, is there or not?
I don't think it's necessary.
Not necessary? All right.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, thank
Have
you
a
very
good day,
much.
everyone.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Denise.
Great day. Thanks, everybody.